Yo, 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 it's your boy Blaze McCoy. We're back with another episode of WrestleSense. And holy hell, do we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, WrestleMania week, the time before, all the different companies throwing out their shows. Tons of stuff to chat about here tonight, but let's get right down to it. Wally's in the building. Good to see you, Wally. Always, always. Crushing Kelly Black is in the house. MLW, what up? LD is in the building. PFW. Great to see you, man. Great to see you. Good to see you. Cody Hagen's here. There he is. The wild-eyed Yeti. Oh, boy. Get ready, folks. If Yeti's here, it's going to be a fun night. We got Jen Richards in the building. Clinton McCleary is in the house as well. Good to see you, Clint. Crimson Ninja's in the building. Another member of the channel. Guys, throw up those WrestleSense emojis, man. Let me know you guys are down with WrestleSense. We're going to try to make some sense of what went down here. There you go. I'm going to cut. Yeah, Cody. We did a watch along for Mania Night 2. We were pranking Cody Hagen a little bit there. Yeah, it was fun. Cody enjoyed it. Monstars in the building. Another one of my co-hosts for our watch along on Sunday for WrestleMania. Definitely check it out if you missed it. Drop it a like, leave a comment. You all know that good stuff. Jamar Games in the building as well. Good to see you. So we got a lot of information to talk to. Hey, Paul's in the house. Good to see you, Yankee Southern Gaming in the building. McBride's in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome back once again. Make sure you guys share it out. Hit that thumbs up, the like button for your boy Blaze. We got a lot of great stuff to talk about. See it. There you go, Crimson Ninja. I mean, you could have put it once, but 800 times is enough, I guess. Really digging it. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, as I said, and super chats are open. You can donate to the channel if you want to help us out as we continue to grow, baby. Grow from the side and some of that stuff. Yeah. So let's bring in, today we have a lot of information, but less co-hosts tonight. And so let's bring him on. Doc's in the building first. Yeah, I like to surprise you. I like to bring you on first and surprise you.
Yeah, you did surprise me. I was actually texting my boy McBride.
Maybe I'll just have the show me and you and just leave him in the back. And we'll just
no. He has to come in from one way and only one way.
In from the side.
Yeah, from the side. What's going on, guys? How are you?
Doing good, CJ. How are you?
I am fantastic, bro. A little bit tired. Been up since 6 a.m., you know, furthering my education for the new job, but always time to talk some wrestling.
So Ray and Easy E not here at the moment. They may stop in. You never know. But we're going to go all the way back. I was really just going to do a Mania Rewind, but after Monday and Wednesday shows, we got to talk about those shows too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
so we're gonna go back and talk about what's happened in the past in Mania after Raw, and talk about some big things that have happened in the past. Oh no, you did not shave your beard, Yeti. You have to look. Oh, you're bro. Okay, I knew that was going to be a joke.
Ah, come on.
So can we call you Zeke?
Ezekiel is a friend of mine.
So we'll be talking about him and a bunch of more stuff here in a
buddy.
Let's go right to the first segment. We're going to try to make some sense of, you know, the
Salute PFW.
Mania after Raw, what it was supposed to be. We touched base on this last week, so now we have a lot of talking points. Let's try to make some sense of it. So the Raw after Mania is normally a point where, you know, things end and things start. Like you get feuds ending, new feuds start, you know.
A reboot of a new season.
Yeah, it's kind of like a new season to your show, so to speak. And over the years, we've had some big monumental moments that'll twist and turn whatever happened at Mania and set things straight for the future. So let's just get right into it. Now, these are in no particular order. They're not chronological, which I was going to put them in chronological order, but for the sake of the fun, we'll talk about which ones are favorites at the end. So let's get right to it. First one.
Man, that hit hard.
2014. Yeah. Here's the quote. Every man's heart one day beats its final beat. And the man dies 24 hours later.
If you would have told... Oh, go ahead.
No, CJ, you spit it out. Spit it out.
I was going to say, if you would have told me that would be the last time you'd see him, I would have said you're lying. So.
I have to say one thing about this. If you ever saw the movie 300, the main characters talk about the perfect death. A beautiful death is what it is in war. The Spartans talked about it. this right here, I will say it. The Ultimate Warrior had a beautiful ending and a beautiful death. And the reason I say that is not saying it's beautiful that he died. What I'm trying to say is this, that he made amends. He made peace. He made peace not only with people backstage, he made peace with himself. And mentally and emotionally.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And that hit me more than that. I actually have this action figure. I actually had to buy 2, of course, because Little Man wanted one. And,
looking back, this has to be one of the surreal moments in wrestling history. I mean, he comes out, proclaims, all like you said, and then he dies the next day.
Yeah, it's kind of like he knew something was not right. You know,
my only gripe, if I would have a gripe, it's not really a gripe. It's just I wish he would have put the face paint on, not that mask.
I know, but I mean, the sympathizers, they were selling that too, so he might have won the. I know, but I think
that's good old CE in a building. He was our champ. He is no longer our champ. We might as well get to that right now before we go later on. Picking 14 out of 21 matches. CJ Sensation.
Nice.
Baby. Yeah, didn't you say I had like every single one of Ring of Honor right?
Ring of Honor, you got all 6 right. You guessed all 6.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
And you ended up. I mean, we weren't close. I mean, I had 10, I think. Someone had 11. What did I do this year? Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. You won. You're the champ. You're the champ. And we'll go through those 2. We'll go through those 2 match cards here in a bit, just to recap everything that happened. Just browsing over. There it is. All the important stuff that happened over the last few days. But 2014, Ultimate Warrior, definitely a huge moment for the night after Raw.
Yes, like said.
It's got to be in a top 10.
Definitely.
I do have the list on the last slide so we can pick. 2002, the next big thing arrives. Is this the beginning
I
of
didn't realize that was a Raw after me.
Look how young he looked.
Yeah, he came in and kicked people's ass. I think he kicked Maven. I think it's Maven laying there, and Spike Dudley. He just crushed him.
Big Shreddy in the building. Good to see you, my friend, my guitar buddy. And there is Rob
I'm
Machete as
sure
well.
whenever he came out, we didn't realize how much of an impact he was going to have.
No, I mean, they introduced him as the next big thing. Didn't they do vignettes or something before he came out?
Yeah, he was.
But when you see someone like that,
brought him out.
Yeah, when you
but
see
to see
someone
the
like
growth
that,
in his character development as to, from then to now
let's talk
incredible.
About that, because here's the next one leads right into it. 2012, the return of Brock after the Beast returns out to UFC. So he goes away, goes to UFC, and then he comes back for more.
Wasn't that also like the 25th anniversary of Raw or something?
So it's 2002. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was
something crazy.
It's an impact. We talked about this last week about having something to talk about the next day, something to discuss, a happening, something big from that day. And these were some of the best examples of how the Raw after Mania can really kickstart things into, I guess, the road to SummerSlam, if you want to get technical, the next big one. But the Beast, the Brock, 10 years later, he comes back.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had a Brock returns later after that. And what he's doing now is even more incredible, in my opinion, is after all these years, like you say.
Because he's having fun.
Yeah.
And the dominant character, I don't think anybody has used the dominant character better than he has, in my opinion.
No, nobody.
The mouthpiece of Heyman, of course.
Yeah, the mouthpiece, of course. But you have to think about it like this, too. When he came back that night, I mean, he made, of course, everybody loved him that knew him. And then you had the kids who all love Cena, completely just hated him. I loved every minute of it.
It kind of injected UFC fans, too, because they knew about Brock. Now it started that little loose connection between UFC, the combat
sport. That crossover fan, if you
I mean, if you think about it, real deal UFC, once you get so old or if you're not that successful, if you can act and you can be funny or whatever that is, I mean, you're already a fighter. You already know different types of mixed martial arts. So it makes sense. There's been some good ones and some not so good ones that have come over from UFC.
Agreed.
He also comes after. See, I told you, CE, he's like an encyclopedia of wrestling and sports. Mania 28. I'd have never guessed what Mania, but I knew he came back again. Old school Raws, legends and new guys. Yeah, that's a couple years, a couple times a year would be great. I mean, that's what wrestling's all about, is the nostalgia and mixing.
If done right. If done right.
If done right. So
I'm with the Yeti on this one. I want to see Cena come back as Peacemaker. Also, I
kind of do too.
I want him to come out. I want him to come out to the ring to Do You Want to Taste It? I want to see it happen. Make it happen.
It's
every
great to see him.
episode I've watched, that's all I fucking hum all day long.
Do you,
I gotta
do
get-
you want to taste it? I tried doing the dance a couple times. I about pulled a groin. It was fun.
Come on, spoilers. I've never seen it yet.
It's just a dance
I
at the
know,
beginning of
I
the
know.
credits. You're good.
You haven't watched Peacemaker?
I'm a ball buster. I don't got HBO. The longest
Neither
pop
do
in
I.
history, brother. 2002, Hulk Hogan. So Hogan and Brock's debut was the same night. Hogan's little NW. It's not his debut, but it was Brock's
No,
debut.
but
It's not Hogan's debut.
Debut for NWO.
Yes.
Now wait a minute.
This is
Wait a
2002.
minute. Are you sure? Because Vince brought them back to No Way Out. NWO, No Way Out. He brought the NWO back that day. And then that Monday night on Raw, Hogan come out to do the thing and then that's when Rock come out and challenged him to Mania. I think what you're thinking of is Hogan coming out the night after Mania, but this is where he addresses and actually brings back Hulkamania.
It said the title was, I didn't get I'm trying to look it up. The longest pop in history, brother, was the tagline to this picture. So it was when he came back as a good guy from.
Yeah, I mean he started
find the actual article. So
he started getting rid of the black and white and bringing back the yellow and red, which everybody wanted.
I mean,
I didn't.
I did. Look here. 1985. I owned the workout set. I owned the big rubber wrestlers from LJN. Yes. God damn it! I wanted the red and yellow back. Okay, sorry.
I liked Hollywood Hogan.
I loved Hollywood too, but I just, you know what? I had enough of him through WCW and everything else.
Yeah.
It was time to bring back my hero, the one that told me to eat the vitamins, say the prayers, avoid STDs. From the side.
So from NWO to DX, this is 1998, I should say. 1998 DX, it says A Faction Reborn. This is
when Xbox grabbed the mic and said, and I quote to start it off, the promo, Hulk Hogan, you suck, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
I'll never
remember this.
I do. Oh, it's good times.
I wasn't a big DX guy. I was
the original incarnation of DX, but all the several reboots they tried after the Attitude Era, I just wasn't with it.
All right, let's move on to the next one here. Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, takes his final bow.
Yep.
Now this would be after him and Michaels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was him.
I love you.
Yeah.
That one. Okay. So I mean, just look at the people in the ring.
Do you know
it's crazy?
You want to hear another little fun fact about this one? They waited till they went off the air, and then had Undertaker come out.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. But I mean, that's what I mean. Like in wrestling, retirement doesn't always mean retirement. I mean, look how long ago this was in Flair. Since 2008. He's still around. He's not really like. He can still. Yeah, true. You're not retired.
Yeah, he comes in from the side.
He comes in from the side, all over the place. All right. Next one is One Giant Leap for Mankind. 1996. And what the article said was everybody's waiting for Cactus Jack, but we don't get Cactus Jack. We get this version of Foley.
I like it.
I
loved Mankind. How can you not talk about great moments on Monday Night Raw?
I don't know who LL is, but he's hitting it from the side too.
I know who LL is. I know who LL is. He likes it from the side.
Shout out LL hitting it up there from the side. Someone's in on our little tip. So I mean, fill me in. Mankind was the first in WWE was Mick Foley's faces. Is that what this is, or was there Cactus Jack first?
I think it was.
This is 1996. And
no, I think it was Mankind, then Cactus Jack.
Mankind first.
Dude Love.
Yep. CJ's right, because the thing was they were doing vignettes, and Mankind was in. He had it. Everything was covered. You really didn't see. But I just knew from the voice it was Foley. And I didn't. And I didn't say Foley at the time. I just said Cactus Jack because I didn't know his name was Mick Foley then. And I remember them saying, "This is the guy that used to be. This is the guy that used to be." Cactus Jack. And there was so many vignettes and stuff. It was really cool how they built up to him, and then boom, here come Mankind.
I think we have Ray.
Somewhat.
We have his logo
from the side.
All right, we'll see what happens with that situation there. And
all I see is WrestleSense. I wonder if he knows.
He muted himself. He's good.
I muted him.
Good idea.
Goldberg. Who's first?
Oh, this.
I
was a big Goldberg, Mark.
wasn't.
Loved him.
I
Now,
loved
that's
him
another way to
until-
be a squash competitor. Not really Lesnar status, but a different way to be a squash competitor was
I
the way
won't
Goldberg
discredit what Goldberg's done for wrestling, but in my opinion, more times than not, he was very sloppy and had the tendency of hurting people he's in the ring with.
See, that's
So-
kind of how I've
Bret
always
the
thought of
Hitman
Goldberg.
Hart.
I never thought of Goldberg as a professional wrestler. You know what I mean? I thought of him
Yeah.
as just a brute brawler who played football and can beat the wrestlers up. You know, that's so I agree with you, CJ, but I never thought of him. That's what kind of helped me, I guess, be more of a fan of his. If you want to get critical, he was not a great wrestler.
No.
He's never put on a five-star match.
I think he'll tell you that
he had such an explosive presence, though, and I think that's what it did for him.
And the
Another
emotion
thing,
that he drew from the crowd.
He's polarized.
And think about it.
You either hated him or loved him.
But the thing was, if you think about it, guys, he came in like a jobber. No entrance, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They did that right. And he goes and beats Hugh Morrison. I'm like, who is this dude? This is awesome. I hope I see him again. And then the next week he beats somebody else. And I was like, I'm getting on this train. Let's see where it goes.
I never would have guessed that he would have that type of streak that he did in WCW.
Yeah.
There's
just from
rumor
how
of
you just
another.
said.
There's rumor of another Goldberg fight right now, but he turned it down. It's with Gilbert. They wanted to have Dwayne Gill versus Goldberg one time, and Goldberg don't want to do it. Speaking of Goldberg, now
why would he want to do it? That is the drizzling shit.
Yeah, I know. Do you have headphones on?
You guys hear me? I'm using a different headset.
It sounds
like
god awful. I'm not gonna lie.
Like you're in a tunnel.
It's bad.
Using some 1985 equipment. It sounds like. I mean, we can hear you, but
where's the little?
Yeah, it's cutting out and shit. All right, let's move on. So Goldberg enters the WWE. Who's first? How about this one? Shawn Michaels had left the building. 2010.
That was a tearjerker. That was a tearjerker.
Now,
I love Shawn Michaels.
I know he's like kind of semi-retired and came back multiple times. This was the last time, and this was it.
Now, if you catch the theme, a lot of these moments from the Raw after Mania aren't really matches. They're moments. They're either returns or debuts or retirements, you know, and it doesn't have to be about the matches on the Monday night after Raw, as long as there's story that goes with it, as long as there is impact, something to talk about, as we discussed before.
And that's what it should always be, have some kind of meaning behind it.
So all the ones we've done so far have been interviews or in-ring segments or something like that. How about now? Okay, I just muted you when you unmuted you. Go ahead. What's up, Ray? How you doing?
How about now?
Sounds
perfect.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Perfect.
You are a gem.
Sorry, I'm late, boys. I have a dog in the animal hospital.
Up until now, Ray, all we've covered is a bunch of these moments. Ultimate Warrior, Brock Lesnar, Hogan, DX, Ric Flair, Mankind, Goldberg, just the night after Mania type moments. And up till now, most of them have been segments or interviews or something. This next one, in my opinion, probably the best one because it's someone winning a world championship. Dolph Ziggler cashes in the night after Raw and becomes world champion.
Love it.
Yep,
one of the greatest moments ever. And did everybody see Randy Orton's comments about Dolph this week?
I did not.
Randy Orton in an interview with, I don't remember who the interview was with, but Randy Orton said that the best worker of his generation is Dolph Ziggler.
I don't disagree with that at all.
It's going to be tough to disagree with that. I mean, from
working, Ziggler could make anybody a star.
Working, selling, Mike, look.
And then Randy went on to say, can you edit this out because he already has a huge head?
And just most recently, I think the help by Dolph Ziggler being at NXT just elevates the new 2.0. You know,
150%. People, I was actually on a different podcast, which will rename nameless, and I got yelled at, scolded in the chat for saying that Dolph going to NXT could help out the young guys.
Well, then whoever's podcast, no offense, they don't know what they're talking about.
They said it was a waste of time and him coming down and they're going to bury the young talent. I said, just
total opposite.
He's there to build them up. Don't you think they're going to learn from him in the back?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Talking to him.
Not only that, I mean, in any new company, like even if you go back to let's say ECW during the ECW boom. The reason ECW worked is because it had its own homegrown talent, but you had a roster of really great veterans that had, Fed experience and at that time WCW experience that were coming in there to help season those guys and give credibility. And I think that's what WWE 2.0
Lacks.
NXT is missing, because with the old black and gold NXT, you had a ton of credibility from indie darlings.
Yeah.
Like your Coles and your
Ciampa.
yeah, exactly. Which now you just don't have. These are a lot of new guys that, maybe only come from the farm system of NXT or, were collegiate athletes. You need people that people know, and you need people like Dolph that are going to work their ass off to make those guys look good. And then in the back, we'll pull them aside and be like, listen, kid, this is what you did wrong. This is what you need to do.
This will be better. Yeah.
Who else did he do? AJ Styles went down for a little bit. Did Rude go down with Ziggler and stuff? I mean, I don't think
he did.
Yeah, but I actually think you need a roster. Like, I think you need 6 to 8 guys down there that are longtime WWE or longtime TV guys that are maybe getting misused up on the main roster that they don't just have anything
Finn
for.
Balor.
I could name about 6 or 7 of them. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Number 11 is 2014. The Shield turn on Triple H and the Authority, which I forgot they were part of those guys.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah.
So that the Shield were actually bad guys when they first started. Is that?
Oh yeah, they
sure.
completely were bad guys. They were working for Punk.
Yeah,
they were working for Punk, and Punk was basically paying them to
attack everybody.
Yeah.
This next one I don't remember at all either. 2001. Once again, I was in a Attitude Era or before or after. Austin and Triple H team up for the 2-man power trip.
I don't remember this at all.
Either.
You don't?
Yeah, it happened. They actually won tag team gold together, I believe.
They did.
But a tag belt in his right hand?
Yep.
This is when Austin was flipping and flopping between being corporate Austin and still trying to be badass Austin. So it was kind of like one of those lost periods where they were fucking with his character and they shouldn't have. You know what I mean? They were trying to do something new with it and they shouldn't have. And not that H and Austin can't make, anything work, because they can, and it did work. It's just, Austin's character, in my opinion, at that time shouldn't have been fucked with.
They remember.
For me, it was forgettable, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. This one I don't remember either, and once again, because I wasn't big into WWE at this time, and it is Sid Vicious Maims Shawn Michaels in 1995. Anyone? I don't remember.
Vaguely remember.
I mean, obviously it's a night after Mania. It's a Raw after Mania event, but
I feel like
this is when Michaels brought him in, right, for the bodyguard.
1995.
No, I think this is when he finally turned
the bodyguard flipped. Yeah.
Oh, okay, bodyguard flip. All right, my bad. Sorry.
Although I kind of feel like this is kind of a cheat, just because the Raw after WrestleMania at this point wasn't really what
it is now.
We associate with it now.
This is the oldest one, 1995, and in 96 was Mankind's debut, and it wasn't until like the 2000s where most of these are from.
Yeah.
This is 2000. This is the most recent one, I believe. No, I think there's one more. No, this is Bray Wyatt. 2018 says his goodbye. Which
says his goodbye.
Yep. No. Bray Wyatt says goodbye. 2018 to Bray Wyatt.
It was our storyline.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm
Bray
like,
Wyatt says goodbye to Bray Wyatt.
And becomes the Fiend.
Yep.
Okay.
Still forgettable.
I miss him.
Yeah.
Not that it didn't have massive impact. It's just it wasn't like a moment that you were like, oh my God.
Do you guys think he comes back this year? Anywhere? In this year? Yes or no? This year?
It's wrestling. Never say never.
I'm just saying, give me a yes or no. Does Bray Wyatt or Wyndham show up in any promotion wrestling this year?
Yes.
100% yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but he's done filming this movie. He's going somewhere.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's not get too popular out there and doesn't come back to wrestle. All right. We got 2 more. 2011, they make the match for the next year. Rock and Cena.
See, this was a great moment. Yeah.
Maybe that's why they didn't do Rock and Reigns the same way this year, because he would have came out.
Don't be surprised if you don't see it tomorrow
on SmackDown.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he did.
Why not?
SmackDown is the A show now.
Yeah, it is.
Now, granted, they don't benefit from that hardcore crowd like they had on Raw that were all the people who attended Mania, but still, if you're going to bring The Rock back to pop a rating, you probably want to do it for the multi-billion-dollar contract with Fox as opposed to the hundreds of $1,000,000 contract with USA.
And not only that, if you heard the little promo that Roman did cut, asking what he was going to do next, he said, "Show up Friday and you'll know."
Yeah. I mean, it's possible.
We'll see.
I mean,
We'll
if you
see.
think about it, look how Heyman was pointing out all the numbers game, the
Mhm.
whole. And I mean, if you think about Rock did that at one time, so it's kind of they're laying down the foundation. It's going to be a fun trip to LA. I can tell you that.
If they're going to do Rock, I'm sure he's already locked in at this point because, I mean, if you think about it, you know, when you're signed on to do a movie, they're
plan
signing
ahead,
on to do a movie
months.
6 months to a year ahead so that they can plan shooting schedules and all that stuff. So if Rock has carved out the time in his schedule to train for and do this match, it's already locked in.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of, do they want to pop it
When
now?
and where.
Yeah.
You know, but that's if he's even signed on to do it, because I mean, it's not totally like it's just him saying, I want to do this
It
match.
feels like it's gonna happen. It feels like it's gonna happen.
It needs to happen.
Yeah,
like,
it kind of
Fantasy
needs to happen
booker.
for that whole bloodline story to come.
Fantasy
around.
booking, that's what it should be.
So this last one I would put up there with the Dolph Ziggler one, because it's a win of a championship, and it was on her debut, and that's Paige.
Yep.
yeah,
That was a good one.
absolutely. Yeah.
The day
2005.
I let go of Mickey James and fell in love with somebody else.
AJ Lee was the champ, and I think that is there any other record of someone debuting in a company and winning the top? I guess you'd say the top title, as it was at that time for that division.
No.
I can't think of any.
Nobody.
not a
No.
top title, but like Santino debuted and won the
Intercontinentals in
IC
US
title.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Never a top title.
I guess either a world or a women's top title.
Yeah.
Do
There
you
you
guys
go.
remember when I asked him his name? He's like Santino Malala, like real shy and.
His accent was so terrible.
Oh, I
So now,
loved it.
For the
It's
sake
great.
of argument, let's take the Page and the Ziggler one out because they are titles. And Doc always likes to go last on these. So which is your favorite one, CJ? Take out the Page and the... It's not really fair. Those two are champions.
My favorite one, take out the
Page and
and
Ziggler.
the Dolph.
Oh.
Because those are
Rock,
1 and
Cena.
2 for me.
Rock and Cena.
The Rock and Cena one. Ray, what about you?
Mhm.
You guys in the chat, same thing. Which one's your favorite one? Let us know.
I wasn't on with you guys to talk about it, but I think Brock Lesnar's return in 2012 was like a holy shit moment. Like
Yeah.
you kind of knew the Rock and Cena thing because of the night before, like you were expecting something, but
Yeah.
like when Brock returned after being UFC heavyweight champion and that music hit, that iconic music, it was just like a fuck moment.
Yeah.
Get the hair in the back.
Place
of your neck,
went
stand up.
fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
We said that he was. We were talking about Brock during those two. Is the guy who can totally sell the squash guy, the guy who could beat up anybody. I mean, you could really believe that he could beat just about anybody. The look, the attitude. I never complain when he squashes someone, no matter who it is. Basically,
I love what Pat
he can get away
McAfee
with
says about him, that like if aliens came down and we had to choose someone to go, it's like, yeah, that's our fucking guy.
I'm picking fucking Brock.
That's it. Dead on. Dead on.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving because we got a lot more yet to cover.
Yeah, fuck mine. Fuck mine. Don't worry about it.
You're what? Oh, your
Ah, he
favorite?
pulled.
You didn't even ask him.
Ah, Doc's the piece
He
of
pulled
shit
a
this
me
time. All
on
right.
you.
Yes, he did.
Hold on,
Yes,
hold on.
he did.
right,
Y'all noticed that Greg's been big timing people lately.
Yeah, he has.
Blaze is big timing everybody lately.
Heel Blaze. I try, man. I try.
This
I try.
motherfucker. No, I actually Ric Flair's retirement. It's a toss between. It's a tie between Ric Flair's retirement and especially just the symbolism behind the Ultimate Warrior. Man, I always love when people make peace with themselves and make peace with others and just go off into the sunset. And that's what he did. So.
I still think that Warrior one's the most surreal moment that I can remember out of all of them.
It was
Someone-
definitely one of those
that he-
feel good moments. Like that you were
Come
and
like,
the next
Wow,
day, you're
moment.
like, Holt, did he just talk about dying yesterday?
Yes, yeah, about shit.
I mean, that's what. Ugh, it's freaky. It's freaky.
Yeah.
We're
it is.
otherworldly shit right there. All right, we're going to talk about 2 shows this week, and then we're going to go back to
wait 1 second.
Mania and Supercard. Good, right?
You always ask us when we get on, and I was running late. We were, a lot of shit's going on in personal life here, but
Gotcha.
you always ask us, like for our opening statement, our thing. And I had this diatribe that I really wanted to talk about, is that intro. So before we get into anything
I hope
else,
it's not the one situation we don't want to talk about today, but
probably not, because it's not.
Okay.
One thing I want to give an honorable mention to Mae Young's and Mark Henry's illegitimate child making its WrestleMania debut.
That's coming up soon.
And two, I just want to I want to put over hard FTR.
We'll talk about them too. That's going to be our final segment. Will be that match. So I set it up.
Well,
so we talk
not
about
only the match, but I just want to. If you go back,
Ray loves jumping the gun.
I just all I want to say is,
quick, play the intro.
Can you name a tag team that has put on better wrestling, or even a wrestler, in 1 week's time than what they've done? And we can talk about that in detail.
Jones.
Killer Bees.
All right, I'm done.
Our 2 cents is coming up next. We're going to twist the timeline a little bit. All right, so Riley was too drunk to remember either night of Mania. Wally loves FTR. Yeti's debut was in Halloween Havoc. All right, I don't remember that one.
Fuck you, Chick-fil-A, for not giving me.
No, we can talk about the Sunny thing. I mean, she should be in jail for the rest of her life, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
Killing people and drinking and driving and being.
What?
This is like a
I heard some. I didn't know. I didn't hear the whole detail.
She killed a 75-year-old guy, drunk driving again. She should be in jail forever.
Yeah, this is like time number 83 that she's been arrested in the last decade.
One, two.
They should take her out of the Hall of Fame. Take her out of the Hall of Fame.
No, don't do that. Just put her in jail.
Well, she deserves both. All right, our 2 cents. Let's talk about something that Ray just he ruined one of them earlier, but talk about legends and what we got over the weekend. We got the Undertaker entering the Hall of Fame. Austin has his final match and Triple H retires. So huge names. You want to talk about, I guess, a passing of the torch? Not really a passing of the torch, but going into a change of the guard. And really, there you go. There's your item you were talking about there, Ray.
That's on my Twitter right now.
To Mark Henry and Mae Young's hand making its debut in dramatic fashion. So I got a couple fun little things here at first before we get into the actual reviews.
I feel like that last graphic you had up, though, we had that end of an era match where you had, Triple H and Undertaker and Michaels, but this felt so much more like the end of an era because, this is legitimate.
Really the end.
Pre-Austin, post-Austin, and Austin all giving finality, in the same weekend.
I mean, I don't think you can do two bigger names having kind of career-ending types of things all at once. That's monumental. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. Shutting the door basically was what.
So remember we talked about last week. I said they didn't show the crowd. They didn't show the stage that much in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Here could be some of the reason. Number one,
Andrade
is up there.
Oh, wow.
Some people's other halves might not be with the company. Some people's other halves might not have wanted to be on TV. I don't know. There's other people up there that aren't with the company, maybe, because they didn't show the stage at all. And when they did, it was
very minimal. Yeah.
When they did, it was one person.
You saw mostly Randy Orton.
Yes, he did, because he was right up.
They would scan that front row. They would scan
I would imagine there's legal reasons for that, because I know with WWE's contracts,
possibly
you cannot appear on any other televised promotion, period. You cannot appear on this TV show. So I would imagine AEW probably has some language like that in their contracts. And as you said, there was a couple AEW wrestlers.
It makes sense, because there could be a couple AEW up there, or someone who's not with the company anymore, someone they don't really want to put on TV, but they're related, so they're there for their people, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought that was.
I think him being there in general just shows that maybe some changes are happening.
Hey man,
in a good sense, even though he doesn't work there anymore. Yeah.
We're going to talk about it later, because Cody had an unscripted promo. So that's
bullshit. That was 100% scripted.
No, it wasn't.
Not what I heard.
I believe it was.
Now look who made it into this picture.
Script has been leaked on Twitter.
So damn.
I like it. I was going to bring up Brad Maddox with Paige, but I mean.
Well, the fact of the matter, it was Woods' picture with two hot chicks for the Hall of Fame, so someone superimposed Brad Maddox to make it
he was
really fun.
there. Come on.
Sure he was. He was filming too.
Yeah.
From the side.
Backstage.
Hey, take my credit card. I want the video. Take my credit card.
Yeah, really. Yeah, sell me that one. All right. I thought those were fun little pictures to go over as well before we get into the actual. There it is. From what I read, it was unscripted. He may have had points, but dude was unscripted promo. Would you read, Ray?
I actually saw a blacked out script essentially from Monday Night Raw, like the timeline blocking out, and what they blacked out was about 5 paragraphs for Cody, and the first 2 sentences of the first paragraph are what he said verbatim. So to think that he was
just the report,
to think that he went unscripted completely is probably bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Vince
Bullet
might have.
points.
I'm sure he was probably given some leeway, maybe. As I mean, he's there's somebody I'm sure he trusts or that they trust because he's from their system. But
raised fan in the building.
That was very scripted.
I didn't. I felt so much emotion in that.
Yeah, I loved it. I think it was a fantastic.
And then
promo.
it did its job.
I'm not knocking it in any way, shape, or form.
Put it this way: Cody must be real good at trying to make it seem like an unscripted promo. Then
Cody is a very good actor
because he's great on the mic,
and he's great at getting the emotion.
I think he's 150% over too right now.
Yes,
I did feel the
I want to talk about that
was pushed a little bit, but
I mean, when you bring up your dead relative, when you bring up someone that had an impact on you, like your dad or like your someone that passed away, it hits you. Like every time I bring up my grandma, I just
I feel like it was definitely 100% genuine, but maybe a little bit forced.
Okay, that's fair.
I love the reasoning that he gave. I mean, regardless of what the true reason is, which none of us will ever really know what the true reason is.
Only him.
Tony Khan said he won't talk about it. Cody won't talk about it.
The money doesn't hurt.
But doing something his dad never could. I mean, that is
story.
It's a great story.
That's a great story, man.
It's a great story. It's fantastic. If it pays off, we'll see. Like
that's
right now, they got gold in their hand.
That's like Michael's childhood dream story back from like Mania 12.
Jose Super Sack Lothario.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say about it, Doc? This is the time, man. What do you got to say about Cody and his promo? And
like I said, if you go
WWE?
Okay, his entrance into WWE, just the entrance alone, the way they did that was perfect. Because if you think about it, look at Undertaker's Hall of Fame ceremony. At the end, he said, "Never say never," right? So Seth Rollins is waiting, and they gave that crowd that slow little burn, just that slow little wait. And then next thing you know, the lights went out, and I'm like, "Oh shit!"
I thought Riot.
I thought
for a second, I thought, look here, I thought Taker. Then I said, well, wait a minute, maybe the Fiend. And then we heard the statement. And then as soon as that logo popped up, because my hearing's not as good as it used to be, so I'm not hearing it. And then Bodie's jumping up and down. He's like, look,
wrestling has more than one royal.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the botch? Did you guys see the botch on his entrance?
Yeah, the ramp didn't go all the way up.
When they set the camera, he's like this, and his head's just sitting there, and then he starts coming up.
Yeah.
Like his head's just popped up.
Actually, you know what, though? In the beginning, you didn't see his head in the beginning, though. Raw, you did, but not at WrestleMania. WrestleMania did it perfect.
On Raw, it was just his head there above the ramp. And the ramp, and then it raised.
Yeah, they got to work on that a little bit. But I thought it was so great, especially the entrance. I love the graphics, everything. I mean, they were like, "Here, we have him." And it was great. And to quote him though, it was the worst kept secret in wrestling. But just the simple fact is that build, that slow, like waiting. Everybody think he's going to show up on a Raw. They did it great.
I think so.
I thought there was no way you could present somebody on a platter that awesome.
I agree.
And keeping the music, keeping everything is basically Vince's way of saying, all right, Tony,
like number
fuck
2
you
in
too.
the U.S. right now.
And those Cody Slayers burning his AEW T-shirts and whatnot. Get a life. Get a fucking life.
I don't think it was a fuck you Tony Khan moment, though, with not keeping everything.
I do.
I feel like it's a strategic move by WWE to all of the main eventers from AEW to say, like, look, if you're an established character, if you're over, we're not going to fuck with that. We're going to let you be you, because WWE's been notorious for hiring people from other companies and trying to mess with the sauce and mess with the recipe and change everything.
That's where I was going with the
if it's not broke, don't
thing.
fix it.
Even if it's partially unscripted, and he did kind of go off on maybe a little bit of a tangent or something. The dude is that, and the fact that they kept all of his spiel from AEW, like you said, shows the other people that look. Don't believe what you're hearing about coming over to the big leagues, that we're going to change everything. We might keep it the same. It's all dependent on that person.
Yeah.
So, it does ring true to like an MJF or someone to be like, maybe I can go over there.
Speaking of the big leagues, though. Speaking of the big leagues, how about that quote?
Move.
How about that quote
Rollins,
from Seth? Holy shit. Welcome to the big leagues, bitch.
To the big,
Whack. I was like, that was perfect. Bodie wasn't too happy about that. But hey, look, it ended the way he wanted it.
It was the right way to kick off the Monday
Yeah.
after Raw, I believe, is to bring him right out at the beginning,
Yes.
let him tell us everybody why he's there, and then we had a tag team match where at the end, Rhea, and we talked about the possibility of this earlier with the Edge and the Priest gimmick, that the rumor is Rhea could be leaving Liv and going to join that group.
But here's my thing with that. Like,
ahead.
why already have them break up?
I think they're a great tag team.
I think
I like
they're a great
those two
tag team,
together.
and their WrestleMania outfits, they should wear those more often.
Hey,
They should
Juniper
wear
the Witch is in the
nothing.
building. Good to see you, Juniper.
The
Thanks
whip.
for popping in.
She
Here
should
we-
keep the whip.
Here's my
God
problem.
damn it.
I agree with both of your points.
Down, boy.
I loved the outfits. I liked them as a tag team. I feel like that's what the women's tag team division is lacking, is any cohesive teams that look the part, dress the part, act the part. Everybody's just two people thrown together, which I can't stand.
Can I coexist?
But what I really hated is, why make that a championship contenders match where if they win, they get a title shot? And then 5 minutes later in the back, Rhea's like, I got us the title shot for next week. So what the fucking point of the contenders match?
They lost. They
It didn't make sense at all.
Yeah, but you
They're
could have
teasing the breakup. It's just.
You could have
Like,
set
I
it up
told-
with a 6-woman tag and just them being on, or an 8-woman tag with 2 teams on each side, and had all 4 of the
Yeah.
teams from last
Yeah.
night, and
Yeah.
teased the Ascension. That it's stupid little logic holes in the booking like that just piss me off.
Yeah,
Like,
agreed.
you
I was
guys,
telling
you guys
before
have
the
a
show,
team of people. No one looked at that
True.
and said, "Hey, that ain't right."
Yeah, it's not going to make sense in the long run. But let's go on to the next one here as the night went on. And I've said this earlier, too. I didn't say it was a great Raw or fantastic Raw,
I
but it
don't
was
think it was good
interesting.
at
It was
all.
pretty good. Now I thought
I
it
don't
was good,
think
too.
it was good. I don't think.
I
it was
think it
good
carried
either.
on a lot of the stories, made some new ones. You got some debuts. You got some people. Well, here we go, Ezekiel here.
This could be gold.
It could
but they'll fucking fuck it up.
It
I
really could.
guarantee.
They need a fake fucking beard, and they need Elias and Ezekiel wrestling and pulling the whole Abyss Chris Parks thing from TNA.
Yes.
Well, that's
where
another
they're in
thing
the
I heard
same
someone
place at
say.
the same time, but never
Yep.
the same room. That would
I
be
heard
money.
get a look-alike and have him with the beard and eventually have them fight together or something. Have someone look.
What
Yeah, there's
I-
a lot of ways this could go. That
What
could be
I
great.
said is that he should come out next week as another one of Elias's relatives, to
Eddie.
the point where like he has some sort of like
Eli. No, I mean,
Head-
Eli.
yeah.
head trauma that he forgets he was Elias.
Elvis. They should
And
have
then all of a
heads
sudden-
of Elvis.
No, we
He
waited for it. We
remembers.
waited. We wondered about Elias, and finally he's back as Ezekiel. I like the segment. I mean, you put Kevin Owens.
I liked
anybody,
it.
he's
It was
gold.
hilarious.
And then he came all over the Mysterios. Veer
he
finally
did.
came.
Yeah.
Hey, give it up.
That's
for
a
cousin
perfect
Edwin
picture for that
Shulo.
quote.
Yeah, right.
He's coming all over his back. I didn't
Yeah.
mind Veer. I mean, I think they can make him into something.
How this was done, I thought it was better than what it was going to be.
Yeah, I expected a lot worse. He's kind of energetic. You know, he's
Yeah.
powerful at the same
He
time.
used
I
to
wanna
be
see
a
him work.
Pittsburgh Pirate,
Yes.
I'm
He did.
not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes.
Wait, that's the one that was a pirate.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the pirate.
Shout out
Yes.
to the Pittsburgh
And-
Pirates.
You like the black and gold all over him?
True. I didn't
We
even
saw-
put that together.
We all know how green he is from reports we've all heard, or you guys, Doc, you got to see him in person.
Yeah, you get to see the dark match.
This is
I mean, Cedric
I was going to
alluded
say
to
this kind of booking though is if
Is
they
good.
want to do something is what they're going to need to do. Where he's never in a match. I don't think he should be in a match for the next 6 months. I think it should just be like random out of nowhere. He either annihilates somebody in the back or comes out and fucks up a match and annihilates people.
Yeah, I agree.
Doc,
You
you,
hear-
like, you saw him come from the side.
Yeah, I did. I saw him come.
I don't
and-
think it was from the side. That looks like
Come
that
all
was
over.
from the back to me.
It's a little bit from the
Right.
side right there.
Well,
He did
all
it-
I'm gonna
he did it
say
from
is
the
when
side.
we watched that dark match, I literally went up and I said, "Hey, Bodie, look, it's Veer," and Bodie goes, "Who cares at this point? I'm done waiting." I lost it. He was like, "Who
A lot of
cares?"
people were, so I'm glad they finally pulled the
I was
trigger
like,
and you pulled on it
dang.
Raw after Mania to give a
Dominic
talking point.
Mysterio was
Happening.
prison raped right here. That's all I'm
And then
saying.
you got- then you got
And
the
you loved
eye.
that rumor.
The eye.
I tell you what, I did not see her get hit. I didn't
Did
see
you guys
when it
see
happened.
Cody's forehead too? From
Yeah,
those
Cody's
boots,
was
from the
yeah.
kicks.
Yeah.
His forehead
Yeah.
was a wreck from those boots. He admitted too. Here's another thing that you don't normally see in WWE, but you did because of Cody Rhodes. A post-Mania scrum where he was just talking shit with people. Did you guys see that interview?
I
Yeah.
did not.
Fantastic. AEW's been doing it. When's WWE
Yeah.
did that? I love
Never.
that. Let
I
people
love
be
the
themselves
media
more.
scrum. I love the media scrums after AEW.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out, though, and I forgot this when we were talking about Cody, there was a lot of contracted AEW talent in the back QT Marshall was in the trailer with Cody all day.
Interesting.
Brandy was there, obviously.
Well, he
Randy's
said he's
not
going to keep the
contracted.
Nightmare family going. He's still going to continue to train and have that little crew training people. He's not going to stop that, Cody said.
But I kind of thought that was kind of cool and kind of like what could really come of that? Because, I mean,
my point exactly. A
Cody's the
step in the
gatekeeper,
right
man.
direction.
Cody's the gatekeeper, man. It's changing a lot for him.
What
coming
if?
over, and I'm
What
down
if
with
we
it.
see the super card that everybody wants to see? What if we see WWE versus AEW?
WrestleMania
It could
50,
happen.
maybe WrestleMania 50.
Be great.
Listen. Never say never. And
I'm
never
already
thought
fancy
I would say
booking, and
that.
I'm just waiting on someone else to talk because I'm fancy booking
If
as we
there's a
speak
time
right
that
now.
it may
allowed.
actually happen, this is the time.
I think we should do that the next show. What if? And we should
That-
all book at
Do
least
what
5
ifs.
matches and see what happens. Yeah.
We did that with the wheel that time. We could always bring some fantasy booking back. It's fun. So Bianca won the title back, and she came out with this busted up eye, which I don't know. It looked kind of weird because she has an eyelash on one and not the other. It's kind of
That's it.
like why did you put
she
the
got
eyelash
cracked.
on
You
her?
could see she got hurt pretty
That's
bad.
a bad
I just didn't
match.
see what had happened during the match. I don't
I
know
don't
where it
remember
happened.
exactly when either.
That's a terrible
hell,
mushroom tattoo.
hell of a shot.
Hey,
Oh damn!
She's one of my favorites.
Hey.
So I love her.
you got hit hard when it knocks your eyelash off.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Braun Breaker wins the title back off of Ziggler on Monday. Another
Man, this
talking
was
point.
flat. This
Flat.
was flat as shit.
I would have saved it for Tuesday, me personally.
I
I
think
would've
they wanted
saved
to
it for
introduce
Tuesday.
Braun to the big audience for some reason on the Monday just to show him. I mean, I heard he's coming up too. I'm sorry. Walter and one of Imperium is supposed to be coming up, not both.
Yeah.
Well, apparently there's a language barrier with Imperium because they don't all speak actual English. And there's a problem, I guess, that they're having with how they're going to
Becky
communicate.
Lodge
I
is
don't
doing the
know.
bone dance.
But
Jeez,
I agree that I would have saved
this guy
the
needs
title.
to come along more often. Let's do here. LL?
Yeah.
Have him on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I would have saved. That's fine. I would have saved the title change for NXT. I would have loved to see them still have Braun on the show.
Mhm.
But like, why not have Braun and another NXT 2.0 guy take on the Dirty Dogs with
Yeah.
the stipulation that if they win the match, Braun gets a
Braun
rematch
gets a title. Yeah.
Tuesday
Yeah.
There
night.
you go.
That way you can still see how the crowd reacts to Braun and give him a moment to shine on Raw, which, usually this Raw pops a big rating without burning the title change. But how dead the crowd was, considering this is a massive wrestling crowd.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
They don't need to rush him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No,
That
I
was
agree,
like a
but
little rush.
I don't think it was as bad as we're making it out to be. It wasn't great.
All I'm
but-
saying is if Braun hits the main roster before the Rumble, they're fucking him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they
Fucking
want to
agree.
test him with
I
the
agree.
crowd, see how they react and
I
stuff.
wanted to say
Doc?
this too, if you don't mind.
Doc-
I just
Doc-
want to say what Ray's idea with the tag team match would have been great because also there's other people waiting to come up too. Why not put those 4 in that match just to see how the crowd reacts to when like Braun's in the ring with
LA Knight.
LA Knight? Exactly.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that'd have been great.
And then that way they say, okay, well, like if you look at because they have meters back there that rate the crowd, they have things like that. Just see who gets the loudest pop. Where did the crowd react to? Who they mostly emotionally invested in? Then that way they say, okay, we can move this guy up, but let's keep Braun down for a couple more months. Let's
going.
get him the title back, and then boom, yeah, it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I highly agree with that one.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
like I said, I'll say it now. Ray should book.
Thank you.
Ray, you
I
should
think we
book.
all.
Then maybe I could call. Maybe I know a good commentator for you too.
Oh,
No, I say his name.
that's a whole other conversation that we have to have offline.
Yeah,
But
Tony Kincaid. No, I'm joking.
the main thing with Braun, man, is I agree with WWE. I think he's a future superstar for them. I think he has the potential to be a main event guy.
but he's
But-
not ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like anything. If you rush it, they're going to shit on it. I mean, look at what they did with Reigns back in the day. When they first split him from the Shield, they shoved him down your throat.
And you got fucking
Everybody
sick of it.
hated him.
Yeah.
And people turned. Actually, if you watch that Evil series on Peacock,
Yeah,
they talk
it's so
about
good.
it.
It's so good.
Yeah, they talk about that in length. That
I got 3 down.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same place. I've watched the Orton
Yes,
one, the
sir.
Hogan one. And
I watched them all
Miz.
in one day.
I got Orton. No way. I went in order. So whoever the first one was
Yeah,
it?
me
No.
too. I've watched the first 3.
Hogan,
Hogan,
Miz, Or no, Hogan,
And
somebody, and
Orton.
Miz. No, I didn't get to see Orton yet. No, I see Hogan and
You talking
Miz,
about
and there was one more.
Evil.
I
No,
just
Evil,
can't
yeah.
think of the lineup. I can't
No,
think of
Orton
who it
one.
was.
They're all good. So
Yeah,
watch
they
them
are.
all if you haven't.
So speaking
So-
of evil,
Yeah, so this happened
Heel
on the wrong
turn.
night.
heel turn.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It
of that?
happened on the wrong night. I agree with Ray.
Yeah,
It should
I
have
called
Well, they
happened.
tried to put a lot on Raw at once, so I see where you're coming with. They kind of did do a lot, maybe too much on.
Not
Raw.
even that. It's just I called this at Mania. It would have made so
Yeah.
much more sense to do this at Mania than to give almost a loss
Yeah.
for no reason. And the logic of it that MVP is mad because Bobby did it without him, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like the
But let me
better,
ask you this.
the
Let me
better
ask you
story.
this.
Go ahead.
All right, no, I was going to ask you this. I mean, I thought of you as soon as I saw this because I remember what you said in our
Yeah.
last show. But Ray, here's where I'm a little bit kind of like about it because, okay, MVP turns on Lashley, right? Whatever. But the simple fact is, almost got his first loss, so almost right now is down in the dumps. Almost is accepting whatever he can. He's irate. He's pissed. He's like, what can I do? So he goes and he gets MVP. I just figured maybe this was just like a kind of like a little bit of a setup, like a little bit of a plank for almost to walk and say, okay, you know what? It's time. I can't do this on my own. I'm going to accept somebody because if you think about it, after he dropped AJ, he was like, fuck it, I'm doing it on my own.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of got from it. But then I kind of was like,
All right,
man,
so here's your counterpoint.
Okay, go ahead.
I like where your head's at, but you are putting so much thought into what you would have to assume and ascertain as a fan for the reasoning behind this. Now let's go the opposite way. So MVP comes out with Lashley just like you would expect at Mania. MVP uses the cane to smack Lashley, almost gets the victory. The next night here on Raw, MVP comes out and talks about how, since I've been with you, I've brought you 2 world title reigns.
Mm-hmm.
You've lost the title. You're always injured. You fired the Hurt Business. You don't listen to my direction. And this is why you're not world champion right now.
Yeah.
So I went out and found somebody who's willing to take direction, somebody who wants me to make them the biggest star in the world. And then
I'm with you.
With that promo,
that.
you start to cut down Bobby Lashley, almost trying to make him seem like he's not the almighty one. He's not worthy. So that when that match happens and Lashley beats Almost and proves that he's the almighty and he's the baddest motherfucker, it's an even more greater triumph than just beating an undefeated Almost. That really, how impressive is his undefeated streak?
Right. And Lashley losing at Mania doesn't do any disservice to Lashley, in my opinion.
Especially if you do that storyline where they're running him down for the next 3 months or so. And then you have a SummerSlam match where like Lashley's been trying to get Almost in the ring for 6 months, chasing him and trying to get the match, but MVP keeps, outmaneuvering him and out-politicking him. And then finally we get the payoff 6 months from now while Almost has been running through people. We have 6 months more of an undefeated streak. We have a possible main eventer now because he has the mouthpiece that he needs in MVP.
Yeah.
Now he beats him, and goddamn, they're both better off for the loss and for the win versus what we saw here, which is Bobby looked like a bitch for what reason? And you ruined almost his undefeated streak, which is the only impressive thing about him because yes, he has the size and shit, but he's still the shits.
Okay.
I think this was the closest they could get to their live sex party they wanted to have, like Edge and Lita in the ring. So
Matt, I love you, but you nasty.
I don't think he was kissing her at all. She was kissing him.
Yeah, she was swallowing his face.
Okay,
he was tasting what he had for lunch.
From the side.
I heard is there is a program down the line for Pat McAfee versus Corey Graves.
I'm with it.
That.
Survivor
Series.
100% on that.
Survivor Series, brand versus brand.
Love to see it.
We have Graves versus McAfee. I'm all fucking in for that.
The problem is they're going to have to build a story around it because last week when McAfee was there with Corey at ringside announcing, they were like buddy. They were like playing off each other. I loved it because obviously they know each other.
It's a simple way to get there, though. I mean, so we have clear till November for Survivor Series, which is where they do now the stupid brand versus brand bragging right thing.
Yeah.
All it takes is for some poll on WWE.com of who the best color commentator in WWE is to have Graves start taking shots at McAfee And McAfee's going to win that poll because of his overall mainstream popularity. Yeah. And then Graves jumps McAfee on SmackDown one night out of the crowd for,
I was going to say, if one's going to be the heel, I can see Graves.
It's got to be Graves.
You have a built-in story.
Yeah, he jumps him, smacks him, and he'd be like, this is my world. I've lived, died, and bled for professional wrestling. You're a fucking football player coming into my world and acting like, you're the shit and everything. And blah, you have the basic heel thing there where it's...
I don't know if we're getting a unified belt.
That's still up in the air. I guess we'll see.
Tomorrow, that's still up in the air from what I've heard, and I don't know. I'm very skeptical.
There's a way to do that, I think, and that is only if they elevate, as we talked about, the single titles of the U.S.
Yeah, U.S. and Intercontinental, like the brand titles. They'll be the brand titles in the world.
But hold on, the way they have to do that, just if they're going to do the unified belt, in my opinion, is you have to go back to territory days. For those of us that are fucking old, like us,
me.
All of us.
So whenever you had an NWA world champion, like when Ric Flair was the world champion for NWA, he would have an overall arcing storyline, like him and Ricky Steamboat, that was like the main consuming storyline. But yet he would still go to each little territory and fight their champion and make people look good and do that. So you could do that where if his main opponent for the unified title was on SmackDown, he's still on Raw, either cutting a promo or giving somebody a title shot or wrestling a non-title match. And starting to build feuds over there. Like, granted, that's if whoever the unified champion is willing to work double, because you're going to have to work both shows to make it work.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know if these guys, a little group has a name or anything yet, but we talked about it earlier. The rumor of Ripley and possibly Ciampa joining this little crew. Who knows? But I like these
Ciampa,
two together.
I don't think makes any sense whatsoever.
No, I think Ciampa should be either on his own or with
you don't think Ciampa would be a good addition to this?
I don't think it makes any sense. I think
I actually
by himself.
Could be a way to bring him up. Who knows? I don't even know.
I agree with CJ. However, I like Ciampa being involved in this storyline. I would like to see them trying to recruit Ciampa because Ciampa plays a great fucking anti-hero. He has a little bit of that stone cold to him. So if they're trying to get him and he keeps rebuffing them and they're going after him, that could be a great storyline feud for.
Agreed.
I can't wait to see where they go with it. It's really good.
Can I just say the entrance for Edge at WrestleMania is probably the best entrance I thought of the Mania. I loved it. I just loved how he sat there on a throne all evil and came up. Oh, it was great.
It was a harken back to the Brood.
Yeah.
Then also with his current, I loved it. I loved every minute of it, dog.
Yeah,
we'll see where they go with this one.
Like we were saying a little bit before we went on air, I think you both, Doc and Blaze, said this. It's kind of the House of Black.
Yeah, this is what Brandon's talking about too. It's very reminiscent just because of the dark entrance, the dark gear. There are drawing similarities. And I said earlier before the show, let's hope that they differentiate the two somehow on both shows.
Brody King called them the Wish.com House of Black.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it was.
And then I think someone was jagging him. He's like, listen, I was joking.
Yeah.
Let's give him Lost Boy. They can definitely pull off Lost Boy vibes.
Hey, all I'm going to say is the House of Black owes the Brood. They owe the Ministry. They owe 100 others. I mean, it is what it is.
It's not the first evil group gimmick.
I love. I can't state how much I love the new direction of Edge. This is where he should be in his career right now. Him leading a stable where he doesn't have to work all the time. But
younger talent.
And honestly, when Damian turns on him eventually, hopefully a year or two down the road, it's going to be fucking awesome, and he's going to make him. Yeah. So
now I didn't want to be right about this for Mania because I said this would be the end of Mania. It'd be all of them with the belt holding them up. And this is now. Listen. We had Cody, we had Veer, we had Ezekiel, we had Braun win the champ, we had Bianca Zai, we had MVP Term, we had Edge and Priest. To me, it's a shitty way to end the show. There was nothing at the end.
Can I tell you?
I wanted a cliffhanger.
Let me have this real quick. Do you know what this? Do you know what this was right here? Or this right here? This was a Christmas story. And what I mean by a Christmas story is when he gets that communicator thing, he starts doing the secret code for Little Orphan Annie, and it comes out, be sure to drink your Ovaltine. This is exactly what the fuck happened here, because exactly what we were waiting for. We're waiting for something. He goes, tune in to SmackDown on Friday. And I'm like,
Friday.
I'm sitting there like, and I literally said what Ralphie said at the end. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Now,
And I was done.
Not the cliffhanger I was hoping for the end
Oh,
of Rob.
so
And
mad.
here's why. Have we heard on if he legitimately got hurt during
Separated
that
his
match?
shoulder. I seen that.
'Cause
Somebody-
that
He is hurt.
finish,
Shoulder out.
Yeah, his shoulder was.
That
He
finish
looked and
was
said,
a
"It's
bit
out.
rushed.
It's out." He said it was
Yeah.
out. It's out.
It's out.
Yeah,
If you can actually see, if you go back, they posted photos like kind of like a time lapse photo where you can see his arm, and then like 30 seconds later after the move, you can see the bulge
Yeah, it was
where
gross.
either a muscle
It's-
ripped or it's separated. So
So this
I
happened
still would
last
have
night.
loved to seen at the end of that though. I still would have loved to see somebody come out and get in Roman's face, even if they got
Yeah,
their ass beat.
Even if anybody who's going to
Even if Roman never lays a hand on him and the Usos do the dirty work, but
Right.
somebody, because there was no Brock there to be a foil, and honestly, we need a break from Brock and Roman.
Yeah.
But I would
Shout
have
out to
loved,
Bodie in the chat. What's up, Bodie?
Hey,
I would have loved to see the next challenger, at least somebody else, come out and get in his face.
Yeah, something to make us. I mean,
Some
I'm
kind
going to
of
make us
conflict.
turn into Friday.
And again,
but-
like I said, you may see Rock tomorrow, you may not. And
So we're going to do the opposite of what I originally planned for this show. Originally, I planned for this show for us to go over the two big shows, the ROH show and the WWE show from the weekend. We'll still recap them quickly, but these two shows this week, there was just too much to happen. We had to talk about it. This show last night for me was my favorite show of the week.
Absolutely.
I was
Agreed.
entertained the entire night. I would have paid money for this and compared to both nights of WrestleMania. I'll explain a little bit more through this because there's a thorough, long-winded answer I don't want to get into because I want to bang through this and then quickly go through the Mania stuff. But this was a great card. You see just by the matches here, they gave us a little bit of everything. So let's go
and
match
Cole
by
was
match.
Fucking fantastic.
Yeah, Christian
So
and
here's
Adam
Christian
Cole
Cole
was
to start
fucking
off.
phenomenal.
TJ, what'd you think about it, man?
It was a pay-per-view quality match. And it just goes to show that Christian, although he was gone for 8-9 years or whatever, he can still go, man.
I love first
Not only,
matches like
not only
this.
go,
Ray.
but at a high ass level, man. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
mean.
they
With
build
someone
Christian,
younger, quicker.
they build Christian as a main eventer when he first come in, and he proved it and had 2 great matches with Omega.
Yeah.
And now, like, he's kind of fell to the wayside in helping Jurassic Express, and I
Yeah.
get that. But this is a guy that I feel like, obviously, you have a shelf life. He's 49 years old. They should be pushing him at the topper part of the card right now while he can still go at that level, because every time he's
agree.
in the ring for a singles match with time, man, he's great at psychology. He's great at
Yeah.
storytelling. He tells a fantastic story, and he can still physically back it up. So he has everything that wrestlers talk about. A lot of us get older and our bodies can't keep up with what our brains can do, so we shift things. Christian can still do it all. His brain and his body can fucking go.
There were points in that match I actually thought that Christian was going to win.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a great fight, but even more story even happened afterwards with Red Dragon coming out to help celebrate, and then you got the champ Hangman coming up to confront him. So they didn't just have a match, and I love them starting these matches off hot in the show. First match is hot. I love
Doc,
it.
I'm going to lead to you with this comment, because what happened last night at the end of that was what I've been waiting for Adam Page his entire title reign. So he's been champ now for what, 6 months?
About 6 or 7 months, yeah. About 6 or 7 months it's been.
That promo at the end is what we needed for cowboy shit for Adam Page to be over from the get-go.
True.
The get your affairs in order line, the
Shoved his face
attitude,
like
the
that.
swagger, everything about it reminded me of old school, like kind of a mixture of Austin, but also of Taz, of the I don't give a shit about you and you're going down. Now, Doc, I know you are a huge babyface guy. As far as like as far as the you play a babyface in your commentary, but you have always leaned towards like when a babyface cuts a badass promo, you always popped for it and like showed appreciation for it. Back me up on this. Was this not the Adam Page needed from day one, and what can make him a fucking star?
Yes.
I mean a real star.
The no holds barred, no shit taken.
Yeah.
cowboy that what Adam Page can do, especially, I mean, like you said, when he did the face push and the affairs in order, I was like, holy
Like
shit.
his little brother or something.
Like, it
Not
was
only
great.
that,
But they have such a pass together that
Yeah.
the affairs in order so made sense in that promo. It was unreal. Sorry,
And
CJ, go ahead.
no, you're good, brother. Sorry. And I think that promo and how they're setting this up brings more relevancy back to Rampage as well.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes, I forgot about that. Yes, Rampage. Yeah, it brings back that whole. We want to be excited to see this. This isn't a WCW Thunder.
Not a B show. Exactly. Yeah. No.
So
We had the debut of Samoa Joe and Max Caster. He had a
Max-
little impact gig in there. He had a
Max
little
Caster
NXT
is gold.
dig.
I don't care what anybody says. He's gold on the mic, and his work can live up to it as well.
Yeah.
Both
Dude,
of
that-
those guys,
oh
the
my
acclaimed,
God.
the acclaimed physically are awesome. But what's really interesting to me, because Caster's been money on these raps, we know. I think last night was one of his best. But what's interesting to me is when this tag team started, it was Caster being, the cocky prick heel, and Bowens was just kind of like the guy, like the technical guy that backs it up. But Bowens is showing some personality now, boy.
Yeah.
That dude's gonna be a fucking star, man.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys both are just money all around. And Joe,
Bodie.
Joe.
So he said he
looks
was injury
fucking
prone. He got a joke
phenomenal.
on the X division, and he said he beat when we beat you guys in the ratings, he was your champ.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
Caster's gold.
Joe, and
You
I
ready?
love seeing Joe back in the ring. Oh, instead
Joe
of with a
looked-
poncho on.
Joe pulled the
Good,
Daniel
right?
Bryan card.
we're
of-
excited about the acclaimed.
Yeah.
We're excited about Pittsburgh and
yeah.
the acclaimed. All right.
But Joe pulled the Daniel Bryan card of the reins are off, and I'm going
Yeah.
back to working like a motherfucker now because he
And
was
how'd he win the
stiff as
match?
shit.
The
He may
muscle
not look
buster.
like he's.
Buster!
Here's my big point that I want to make is
Caesar.
although he may not look like he's in the best shape because he's definitely not,
Samoan.
he still goes at
Yes, he does.
110%.
Hell yeah.
It does.
Hell
Hey,
yeah.
you know, I was really excited about this match is just the simple fact that he came back. That crowd, my God,
Dude,
the pop.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, it wasn't a CM Punk Chicago pop, but my
No,
God,
but it was good.
but
Tony
they were
Khan has to
so
be so-
happy.
He's like a little kid in a candy store.
Oh
booking shows.
shit!
He has
Did
to
you
be.
see? Did you see when he came? When did he come out for ROH?
He has to be.
He was behind him, like
Yeah, he has to be.
it was great.
Dude,
So
Dude,
that dude-
that crowd in Boston last night was fucking money.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
they
it
were
was.
money.
All
They
night. It
did
was a
make the
great
show even better.
They
I
were
was-
far better than the Raw After Mania crowd.
Great point. Regardless of how great the matches and the match cards are and everything, if you have a hot fucking crowd too, that definitely makes the show even better.
By the way,
Well,
everybody, real quick, Bodie thinks this means the acclaimed is cutting up the competition.
Right.
I like
This is
it.
A
Sure.
for-
All
That's
right.
what we go with.
So we got
We're gonna
Sean
go.
versus Sean in this one.
Yes.
My wife literally said, "Did they just do the lesbian scissor thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, they
They
totally."
So,
do it every
More,
week.
more than anything, after the match, Wardlow with the distraction and the roll up got Sean Dean the victory. What do you guys think about that?
Predictable, in my opinion, but
That's
I
good.
dig it.
I like it
I
because it
think-
leads into more.
I think Spears is
Wardlow
being
destroying
so
the security and stuff. I loved
Yes,
it.
it was
What'd
good.
you guys think about Wardlow coming out destroying the security and
It was brutal.
Wardlow probably murdered 6-7 people because that did not look clean. He was whipping people into shit. I was like, God damn.
now
Yeah,
they
he
keep
left
showing
them
that.
up far worse last night than he did last week.
I don't know if you remember, if you've seen the image, and they're saying sooner or later these two have to revisit this segment. Samoa Joe was coming out in WWE, and one of his little lackeys was MJF.
Yeah.
He did one of
Yes.
these-
Yeah,
he did
yeah.
one of these to him and threw him against the wall.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hope
So
that
I'm hoping
happens.
sooner or later they can't show the footage, obviously, but they can definitely revisit that
On
somehow.
Twitter, MJF posted after Supercard of Honor that if anybody posts that picture in the comments, I'm calling my attorney. He's like, you know what picture I'm talking about. And that they were bashing the shit out of him for the Samoa Joe thing.
Now, before we had this match, this is what made this show even better for me. We had Sammy and Conti's little messages before, which I think
Yeah.
they're going to end up getting a lot of heat. I think they're going
I'm
to end up
kind of
having
getting
heat.
over that, to be honest with
So,
you.
but it was a thing.
What do you
It
mean
was
the
a
heat?
thing.
Why would you say heat?
Well, we
I
obviously
don't think those two are going to be fan favorites. I think people are starting
No.
to hate them already because
Well,
they're
it
I
too
actually-
beautiful,
it
they're
happened.
too good, and all that
It
stuff.
actually happened last night, so we couldn't hear that because it
They were
was
getting
an
booed.
ad break. But yeah, apparently the crowd turned on them hardcore and was booing them during that segment.
Because he's a home wrecker.
Eddie Kingston did his promo with his boys. MJF cut a prep. See, they found a way to get everyone still
He's
in
a
the
home
show with
wrecker?
little promos.
Well, she's a home wrecker too.
I was about to say.
You had Jungle Boy come out and challenge Red Dragon for next week. You had Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm. Yes, I'll take it.
I'm excited. I'll take that.
Did
Yeah.
anybody see the super drunk video of Tony Storm? I don't know when it was
No.
from,
Yeah.
but she was doing some. She was a hot mess.
It was at WrestleCon over WrestleMania weekend. She was supposed to be doing a Q&A, and she was on something.
Well, there was a
Yeah,
report
she-
also.
Whether
She was close
whether
to
she was
retire.
drunk.
She was never coming back to wrestling at one point. I don't know what
Yeah,
convinced
so
her to
she
come to
started
AEW. She was-
OnlyFans and made $20,000
Yeah.
in a day.
So the Hardys beat Butcher and Blade. Here's my problem with this match. It's an elimination table match.
Yeah.
But when you get eliminated, you don't got to leave. You just stay there and help them eliminate the other guy. So I didn't get that part because Jeff Hardy was out and he did the final elimination. So
Yeah.
This
I have a
this
problem
was
with this.
this was overbooking at its finest. The fact that they had to keep explaining those rules over and over again.
Yeah.
JR and Excalibur tried their best to keep explaining that if it has to be an offensive maneuver that puts you through the table, you can't just accidentally fall through the table, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. Why not just make it a TLC match and have a pin, or make it a tables match, but make the stipulation that you have to go through a table before you're pinned,
Or
or something like that. Like,
He mentioned TLC last week.
again, I didn't like how contrived they were trying to make the rules, but I don't
Yeah.
think that took away from the match. I thought the match was really good. I love Butcher and the Blade, man.
Me
Pepper
too.
Parks has always been
Pepper
fucking
Parks
money.
is in. Yeah, he's awesome.
It
He's
could have been
amazing.
one table spot and save the big come off the ladder through the table was the one that ended the match. That could have just been one table spot. They didn't.
And the Butcher looks like a dude I want to drink and have beers with and get into a bar fight. Like,
And he's gotten himself in fucking spectacular
All right, now
shape.
we can talk about
Well,
this one.
before we go on, Jeff
I missed
Hardy
Joel.
botched another swanton last night. He fucked Pepper up.
Hold on, I missed
Blade
Yeah.
hook an ass to the face.
Yeah,
I missed
Um,
Hikaru Shida and Julia Hart.
yeah.
I mean, I know they're building that in the storyline, but
But
honestly, I
are
thought
they
that
gonna put
match-
her in a House of Black though, or do you think they go somewhere else with it?
She hasn't been associated with them for 3 months now. So
Well,
that's
they
what I was
had
thinking.
her team.
She's still
is,
doing the eye patch. And
yeah, her
the-
team is starting to clap off, saying they're sick of her shit, and they're tweeting
Yeah.
about it and they're talking about it. So I think they're still leading towards something. But I think the real story that I think, and I had a picture of it. It was Sheeta with the kendo stick and Serena Deeb with the chair,
Yeah,
and they were in there. And they were. I want to see those two fight every show if possible. I like both of them. So.
Absolutely, and I don't think Julia Hart ends up with the House of Black now. I think that ship sailed, but I could see her being with another
Yeah.
tag
Did you?
team.
She's going to be with. Did you
she-
see her eye? She has
Yeah.
the paint underneath her eye now, like Aleister
Yeah.
Black.
She
But
did.
still, if that was going to happen, it should have happened 3 months ago
It
when they
should
were
have.
feuding him.
Just like Omos, man. You're ahead of the game. You're always ahead of the game, Air Ray. It'll happen in like a month. All right, I got to piss again. So you guys talk about the main event. I'm sure you got a lot to talk about.
I unfortunately fell asleep during this.
You need
because
to
I
go
had
back and
get
watch it.
I'm going to.
Yeah,
I had to
it's-
get up
it's
at
one of the
6
best
a.m.
matches
this
of the
morning,
year.
So
Yeah, look, as I was saying earlier, I mean, the Supercard of Honor match with the Briscoes was
Oh, it
fucking
was phenomenal.
phenomenal.
yeah,
The match last night was phenomenal. I don't think there is a better tag team, and I'm not saying this because they're the best at this, they're the best at that. They are the best all-around tag team in the world. Their promos are fantastic, they're believable,
their storytelling is
amazing, their psychology is amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw this out there. If this was 1970, Dax Hardwood is a world champion feuding with Flair. That motherfucker's
Oh, yeah.
money.
yeah.
He always, like, both of these guys, but him especially, they work stiff as shit, but they never hurt anybody.
Yeah,
But it
Exactly.
all looks violent, all looks believable, all looks amazing. And even when there is a botch, like last night, that power bomb when he caught Nick Jackson, it kind of almost botched it, but he'll take chicken shit and make a chicken salad immediately. Like, he knew how to maneuver his body, knew how to reposition, knew how to do the move, and make the botch come off pretty seamless. And I just think, man, they need to give them the AEW World Tag Team titles too. They need to let them do the belt collector gimmick, essentially, where they're, because they are legitimately the greatest tag team on the planet.
Yep. Did you talk about the false finish at all?
No.
The 3 count with the foot on the rope, and it
Oh,
looked like,
that
it
was
looked like
so
the Bucks
good.
won. It looked like the Bucks won, but the referee.
They
I like
traded
that's old school.
finishers.
It's old school.
Yeah.
I like it. Stop the match,
Yeah.
restart it, get it going. It was good.
The
Great
only
match.
thing missing from last night was an appearance by the Briscoes.
I was waiting for that at the end. I was like, what if the
And
Briscoes
again,
come out at
we've
the end?
talked about this. I don't think you're going to see it anytime
I
soon.
don't think
If you were going to see it, it would have been last night.
Yeah.
So apparently Warner Media has said, nah, it ain't happening, cuz.
But at least they got a mention last night. So.
Yeah, they did. But dude, FTR just, I mean, I know I put them over hard on this show, like every tag team list we have and everything, but it's for good reason. They are so fucking good.
And you can't discredit the Young Bucks either. Everyone wants to say, "Oh, they're just flippy."
I
They're
like
this.
the Young-
They're
not. They do so
they're
much more
top
than that.
tag
That's
team,
bullshit.
just like FTR.
I 100% agree. The biggest shock of it though is I can't believe WWE had FTR and let him walk.
Well, they had MJF
I mean-
too, technically, if you want to get a bunch
No,
of people.
they didn't.
Well, he was there, but you know.
As an
Anyway,
extra.
for lack of time, we're going to do something different with the other two. Our last segment, we're going to go through all the matches really quick from Supercard of Honor and WrestleMania. We're going to do thumbs up, thumbs down from each of us for what you thought of each match. Thumbs up, thumb down, and a short comment on all the matches. CJ is our new Big Picker champion.
Yeah, buddy.
14 out of 21. Right, he got all 6 right for
I
Supercard
might know
of
what
Honor.
I'm talking about.
I had 10. I was in last place. CE had 11, and Doc and Ray had 12 out of 21. So let's get into our 6 senses. Big shout out to the Coach Plays in the building. What's up, brother? Down there in Tennessee. He's grinding on YouTube. My boy Coach Plays in the building. Great to see you. Final segment. Let's do this.
Yeah, they can move to this. Your soul, man, they can move to this. It's brand new. Yeah. Open your eyes and realize it's the new guys. Y'all can.
So we went back into the past to the Raw after Mania. We covered this week's shows, which were amazing. And now we're going to go back a little bit to what happened on the weekend. So we're going to quickly go through Supercard of Honor and WrestleMania. This match, I'm going to give it thumbs down because I wanted more out of it. But I love both of them. I thought it was a good fight. And Mercedes
I'm going to give it a thumbs in the middle.
We got a middle and a down. No, I mean, it wasn't a bad match. It just didn't have anything that really stuck out.
I'm going to give it a middle.
But we'll see where it goes with that. Next match, Zayn and Swerve. See, I talked to you guys about this before. I don't really know much about Zayn, so I didn't even know from the side has to be an option here on this show.
I'm going to give it from the side in the middle on this
again,
one.
I just feel if these two could work again, I think it would be amazing. Like they both worked such a unique, fast-paced style that it was just like they didn't quite gel, but you could tell there was something almost there.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like I think if they could catch each other's timing and have like a match or two untelevised and then have another TV match, they'd tear the fucking house down.
Yeah. I mean, well, in the first one, me and Doc picked Willow. You guys and we all picked Swerve to win. All right. Next fight. It was really cool to see this belt on AEW the other night too when Yuta had it. I was like, damn, that's pretty cool.
I was having some issues with my feed.
I like this match too.
I know that what I did see is definitely thumbs up.
Cool. And we'll see what they do. I love how they're intermingling the titles and stuff. I hope we see a lot more of that. Keep the two companies together. This one definitely thumbs up for me. I enjoyed it. You guys have seen a lot more Lee than I have. So I'm enjoying getting to know what he can do in the ring.
Green screen.
Yeah. I'm giving it in the middle. I enjoyed it
on the side.
But I didn't like how Lethal kicked him in the balls to win. But it's making sense now the more the story's going on. But I think just have him have a match and do that afterwards, maybe.
Well, it makes a little, I guess if you tie in the very end of the show to make a little more sense.
Yeah.
Right, too. And then we just talked about the FTR match with the Young Bucks. This one.
If I had more than 2 thumbs, I'd put them all
This is great. I could rewatch this match now if I wanted. We could sit here and talk an hour just about FTR, really. This is the one. Thumbs up for this. And with Jay Lethal coming out at the end to challenge Gresham.
It's Sanjay Dutt.
It's only right, yeah. And the beatdown with Sanjay, which is cool. And then Sanjay showing up on AEW last night.
That was crazy.
I mean, I love
he's a fun guy to work with, too, because I actually got to call some of his matches in RWA.
He's a good dude.
He's a good dude.
He's the one that booked me for Global Force in Erie.
Nice.
So.
And he
Speaking of,
it was
oh, go ahead. Sorry,
ahead.
Doc.
just
No,
real
you
quick.
got it.
I just want to tell you when we were watching that last night. I don't know if anybody knows or not. When I took Bodie to his first show, he was only a baby. So he had an accident. I had to take him in and change his diaper. I accidentally took him into the secluded locker room for him and Hurricane, for Sanjay Dutt and Hurricane at California University. And myself and my wife are changing this baby. And Bodie just looks up and starts crying. And I turn around. And there's the Hurricane and Sanjay Dutt like, oh, hey. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we're coming. We're leaving. We're leaving the locker room. He just starts crying. I was like, yeah, that guy watched me change your diaper. And Bodie was like, he goes, Dad, I don't want to meet him if we go to Pittsburgh. I was like, all right, cool. He's like, that's embarrassing. I started laughing. But Hurricane had his mask on too, and he goes, oh, look, a baby. What's up with that? I lost it when he said that. He said, what's up with that? There's a baby in here. I was like, well, but great guys, both of them.
I have to do one thing before we cover WrestleMania, and this goes out to our boy Easy, who's not here. Just got to pay him a little respect. Just got to see the ball.
Oh,
you're gonna wear that out.
I'm trying to wear it out.
Before we start Mania, I want to acknowledge something. Like,
acknowledge
we got to give Mikey Ruckus some props because Samoa Joe's music,
I dig it,
is badass.
Yeah,
Every song I love Daniel Bryan's music. I love Adam Cole's music. Like that dude is on the CEO 2015, 2016 level right now. We're just banger after banger after banger.
AEW's nailing it with the music. We're all big music buffs here too. And I think entrance music has a lot to do with the character, has a lot to do with the crowd. And I think it's a big part of wrestling. And
it's the first thing that people hear when they associate you.
Well, the way that they do that stomp in Joe's new music just has them to start that Joe chant.
And I was just waiting. As soon as the match started, before it started, actually, you got the Joe's gonna kill you. I'm glad that's back. I love hearing Joe. I mean, I'm a huge Joe mark. Easy's not here to make fun of me, but most of my favorite wrestlers are in AEW now, so I can't help but like it there. I mean, I still like Ricochet and AJ Styles and a couple, but majority of my favorite wrestlers are now in AEW. How can I not be a huge mark for them? So I guess selling my soul.
It is what it is.
We missed the first match. Yeah, thumbs up on the Smack. There you go.
It's a shame they put this on the pre-show. I thought that had main event level written all over
it. There's all kind of conspiracy theories that this was totally worked.
It is
how Chris Rock leans in at first, and how
you.
Will smiles when he turns around. I mean,
let's not give it any more press.
Yeah, I don't really care much about it. Thumbs down. I don't even think we need to talk about it. We're just gonna let it roll to the next match. I'll say get well, Boogs, but I'll also
I liked it. I liked it.
The match wasn't good because of.
I disagree. I thought it was.
I liked it.
Take someone out. Yeah.
I felt bad for Rick Boogs. I didn't feel bad
there, Booger Man.
Terrible for Boogs.
His knee just went.
A lot of injuries.
Believe me, I know that feeling. Mine's
Rich Holland knows about freak injuries in his fucking nose not too long ago.
This was fucking terrible.
This one too, down. See, that's.
I think I was in the bathroom during this.
Well, dude, they came out with the tribute stuff to Big E. They're all wearing Big E singlets.
Yep.
Oh, tribute to Big E. They're following. What? The match is over. We didn't even finish explaining the fucking outfits yet.
Yeah.
Pretty much like, fuck, we didn't get this match on the first night. We got to put it on night 2, but it's going to be a squash. I loved
Logan Paul.
I hate this thing.
Fucking phenomenal.
He's a bad guy. I'm going to hate him
fucking heat. Especially with the Guerrero tributes. I was like, he's asking for it.
Apparently, Logan Paul, in his agreement for WrestleMania, said that he didn't want to end Mania as a heel. That he wanted to turn face in his match, which is
good luck.
Which is why the skull crushing finale. And I think that was the worst fucking move. He was so good as a heel.
Yeah, agreed.
Way better than I thought as a wrestler.
Be able to bring his brother in too. Let them both get hated and fight.
And also, I want to give props to the guy who actually spent some money and had fucking ring gear made for Mania.
And that actually took it seriously.
Yeah, as opposed to Pat, who I love and wore a sparkly fucking jeans and
he said he had it made by that chick that does all the gear like the day of.
How did you make it? Fucking pixie dust.
Yeah.
And his Pokemon card that's worth like $3 million around his neck. Or $5 million, excuse me.
Now they should have brought that into
this
the
match.
angle. You know what you do with the Pokemon card? You put a fake one in there, not the real one.
And have
the other team take it and smash it.
Yeah. Can I just say that Pat McAfee's ring gear looked like he rolled out of Club Erotica? It's 4 a.m.
Holy shit.
That's probably not far from the truth.
Covered in glittering cocoa butter.
This was a great match. One
This
of the
was
best matches
phenomenal.
of both nights, in my opinion. I mean,
By the way, did you guys notice the beginning of Becky's intro? All I'm going to say is, if you notice the beginning, she had kind of like that. Yes, I've seen the Marvel Studios movies, right? When they show the beginning and has all the like scenes and it cuts into the logo.
Yeah.
Little is known, Becky Lynch has been signed on to do a Marvel movie as a character who's undisclosed at this moment. But that whole intro was dedicated to her Marvel signing.
Now I'm trying to think who she could play.
She could play an alternate Black Widow since they're doing like the whole multiverse of madness kind of thing now. You could go some.
I have no idea who.
A lot of comic fans and stuff out there in the chat. You guys, let us know who you think, Becky. Let us know who Becky Lynch might play in Marvel if she would.
She-Hulk. No, I'm joking.
What about her as Sue Storm?
That's pretty soon.
What about her as Sue Storm?
Actually, wow. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
So then we saw this one, which was a mystery, but we all know it ended up being Cody Rhodes.
That was a good match.
Match of the weekend, in my opinion.
Yep. I was going to ask if you guys have a favorite out of all the ones in the weekend.
Wrestling wise, pure wrestling, yes. My favorite match of the weekend was McAfee's segment with Stone Cold and everything. But for just a straight wrestling match, this was it. Why does Cody Rhodes look like he's about to yell brains and start slowly walking at somebody in this graphic?
I was going to say he looks determined to take a shit.
Like he already has something wrong with his forehead. Like he was foreshadowing that his forehead was going to get.
Here's another thing about this match. Real quick. It signified a lot about Cody Rhodes, and what I mean by this is, if you noticed, how they did him right, how they got everything settled with the entrance and everything. But what kills me about it is, if in AEW you saw them starting to boo him, right? It was cool to boo. It was starting to get cool to boo Cody. It was starting to get cool to hate Cody. And if you go back, I hate to say it, I'm a huge music buff. Like we talk about music buffs, right?
Yeah.
In the heavy metal world, in the rock and roll world, there's always these bands that they pick to hate. It's cool to hate Nickelback. It's cool to hate Bad Wolves. It's cool to hate Five Finger Death Punch. It's cool to hate Ghost now all of a sudden. It's Metallica. Exactly. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying to you is, if you look at if you take that whole scenario of that music genre and you take it with the whole wrestling genre, it's like this. Cody Rhodes, it was cool to boo him. And now look at him. There's nobody to get up. His shirt sold out the next day at the Access store because my friend from LA went for both nights, Jason from That Wrestling Podcast, who, by the way, got his seat upgraded to third row.
I saw some of his pictures. They're amazing.
Holy shit. I was blown away. But what I'm trying to say to you guys is, look how well WWE did this. They took someone in who was basically hated. And my God, the explosion when he came out. All right,
I loved his little Stardust kickback too. He did the cartwheel and the
cartwheel.
That was great.
Yeah, double thumbs up on this one.
Yeah,
I mean, this was the big question mark going in. This is the big question. What the star thing was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this was the big question going into it when we got the answer we thought we would get. This, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Ronda, go away.
Go away. Except for Charlotte's,
go away.
Charlotte's titty gets a thumbs up.
Yeah, nipple shot gets a little, even though it's fake.
And no disrespect to either of these women or to Ric Flair, but I don't know what that tweet. I don't know what he was watching.
Why?
Yeah.
Well,
he drinks a lot of wine.
She's not good. I don't like Ronda at all. I'm done trying to think. All right, then we got what we didn't think was a match. Was it going to be a match? Was it going to be one stunner? I think we got a lot more than I thought we were going to get.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I was surprised that Austin took the bumps that he took.
The suplex on the concrete.
Yeah.
He was ordered not to do the fingers. The first time he went like this, but later on he did give the fingers. He was told not to give the fingers.
I love this segment. My only gripe with it, if there is a gripe, which again, this is nitpicking, but I really wish they would have announced it as a match from the get-go. Or there was one line missing. Me and CJ were watching it live, and I kept talking about this. Whenever he challenged him, the brazen badass Austin should have just looked at him and said, "Boy, I'm 57 years old. You think I take my wrist and put these fucking knee braces on not to beat your ass?" Instead of doing the crowd thing. But I mean, I get why they did it. And Austin is notorious for being neurotic about his performance. He didn't want to commit to a match because he didn't want expectations to be high, is what I heard.
Dude took a suplex at ringside.
But
Yes,
he
he
lived
did.
up. He lived up to every expectation I had for him at this stage in his life.
I think I said to Ray, you could tell at the beginning he was moving around a little bit slower, but as the match went along, you could tell him feeling more comfortable.
Yeah,
It
once
also
he got
made a
into his
bigger star out of KO
Adrenaline
too.
or
I
whatever,
thought.
man. Yeah.
I thought it
Absolutely.
gave KO so much clout too, just
Oh,
because.
absolutely.
And if you look, there's an interview out there. I don't know where it is, but he kind of breaks down and like actually starts to get a little bit emotional about it because this was his favorite wrestler as a kid, and to wrestle your childhood, the guy that got you into this business, the guy that got you motivated to do this would be unreal.
I'm sure this was in there when KO signed his contract.
Plain and
beginning of the year.
simple. Plain and simple. Austin didn't need to do this. He did it to elevate KO.
Yes, he did.
and
Very
because
good.
they gave him a shit ton of money.
Well, yeah, but more
Pretty much
importantly,
I mean, it
end
should be.
goal
It could
was
be
to
his
elevate
in-ring,
KO.
his in-ring swan song too.
And he
He
went,
said-
he went out on his own terms.
Well, he
Well,
also
it-
mentioned in the promo his very first wrestling match ever
Oops,
was in
Was
Dallas.
Dallas.
His now last wrestling match ever was in Dallas. So that's a pretty fucking
True.
cool, bookend to a career.
So we talked about this earlier with the turn later, and the match was poo-poo-doo. So we'll just move right through.
One thing I will say about that match is almost was out of position, and you could almost hear Lashley say "fuck it" as he speared him in the kidney.
Yeah.
I'm a big Street Profits mark right now.
I love
So
this
am I.
match.
So
This
am
was
I.
this was such a good match to open up the whole night with. I mean, my
This
God,
this for
It
me
was
was
so
in
hype.
contention for match
I
of the
actually like
weekend.
all three.
Yeah.
I actually like all
Yeah.
three tag teams, to be honest. Otis
It
is
was
Yeah.
a great match.
I do too. It was solid.
Chad Gable's really over right now. I mean, we
he
saw
is.
I
saw
think
the
the
Gable
stuff
on
with
Gable
the
action.
Steve, I don't know. I wasn't with it.
Gable on Gable. Now that's something that they normally wouldn't do. Like they strayed so far of that. Like Bob, we couldn't have two Bobs on the show. We couldn't have two, either first and last name. But to see them mix them together, even at first, just to, I don't know. I kind of like it. It's against the grain of what we expect for WWE.
Could you see a writer coming up to Chad Gable right now and be like, "Hey, we're going to change your name again"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gable's
yeah,
probably
he-
like, "You call me Shorty G, and I'm going to break your fucking neck."
Yep.
True. I was waiting for them to call
still
him
have that action
Steve,
figure.
Steve Gableson or something.
I'll go sideways on
I
this
didn't
one.
like this match.
I'm
even
in
though
the
I thought
side
I
on
was
this
going
I'm on the
to.
side. Yeah,
I didn't
Yeah.
like it, even though I thought
I
it
didn't
was
mind
going
it.
to.
I just
Living-
really wish Rhea and Liv would have went over.
It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was what it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Live in Rhea's outfits 100% get a
Oh,
thumbs up. The
fuck.
match itself gets a fucking thumbs down.
Yeah, I'm a
This is
Sasha. I
driving
like
me
Sasha and
nuts.
Naomi too, so I'm
You're
not
gonna
really
have to see my mess in the background.
not
all right.
knocking
Whoa.
them for winning. I mean, I
Total
guess if
love,
either of the
not
other
mud.
teams won, I'd been happy, but it just didn't have anything of note. This was a comedy act. I mean, you bring
I
the
love
table
it.
with you gotta have
Dude.
fun. You gotta have fun with wrestling, man.
Oh, come on.
Wee
This
Man
was-
coming out and picking him up. Come on.
That was
This
dude.
was-
That body slam was phenomenal.
I'm more of a wrestling. I'm more of a wrestling purist, so I'm
Oh, shut
not.
up.
I'm
I've
not
seen you
hating
do more
on it.
comedy than anybody.
I'm not hating on it. It was decent, but it was a lot better than I expected.
You have to admit, though.
How
my
about-
wife actually hates wrestling, and she liked the match. She was into it. She was
The match
laughing.
was
It was
How
entertaining.
about
fun.
even when the big mousetrap botched? He's like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get this fucking thing open one way or another. It was
Yeah, I
the,
did.
the match was entertaining as fuck.
It was.
And the memes going around right now of Wee Man slamming Zayn and them saying, "I'm going to tell my kids this was Andre and Hogan."
I didn't see any.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, props to you, Johnny Knox. You knew it was going to be like a Daredevil fest with the props. This one, I was
Yes,
thoroughly.
loved it.
I was hoping. I didn't want to
Definitely thumbs
overreact, but I mean, I don't know if I have a
Pat
picture of
stole
it
the
after.
show,
Do I
man.
have a
Pat
picture of it?
stole
Hold
that
on.
show.
Do I have another picture of the one after? No, I don't. Okay, go back. The biggest thing was after the match too. What happened?
Yeah, that was fun.
I mean, to see. I mean, does Pat McAfee swears he did not know that was happening.
That's probably true.
He said that on his show. He said we did not know that was going to happen.
Listen, I love the entire presentation. Seven Nation Army, even though like that chant has been used for so many other things.
Pat thanked Jack White on his show.
Yeah,
that is so Pat McAfee though. Like
Pat did more than good, Monstar.
if
he
you
did
watch
phenomenal.
Pat's show, him and the boys will start singing songs and shit. They do Seven Nation Army all the time. The cheerleader spot was awesome. And the match itself, Pat's a fucking natural. Pat
No, wait,
can sell.
Before
Pat
you
can
go,
work.
he had a match in NXT, right?
Yes,
with
Adam Cole.
Mhm.
Okay,
And
in
They
that
did.
match,
Two matches in
this
NXT.
I just read this. I don't know because I didn't go back and really compare. But his spot off the top rope, backflip, landing on his feet, and a couple other spots he did those in NXT too.
Yes.
So it was a lot of the
Yeah.
same things he did. I'm not
Which is
knocking him
fine.
for it, which is fine. He's
Because
doing it on
not a
grander
lot of people
stage
probably
now, yeah.
actually saw that.
Now the
Yeah,
world
exactly.
saw it. Yeah, I'm just.
Can I just say this
that's all.
about Pat
Good.
McAfee? It's just the fact that, with that song and everything, everybody was doing the oh in the crowd. But the thing about it, they haven't used that in a long time. The last person in WWE to use that was
Fandango.
Enzo Amore. No, Enzo
Oh, wow.
Amore. Remember that? Oh, Enzo Amore, and he
yeah.
he started doing the little dance.
They do a lot
Well,
more of
that's-
that in NXT UK. I love some of their chants.
Well,
Yeah.
that's also Seven Nation Army is how the Pittsburgh Steelers have Renegade as
Yeah.
like our main pump up song.
Yeah,
The Indianapolis
that's how the
Colts
Colts,
is
yeah.
Seven Nation Army. So it made sense all the way around. But man, he was over like Rover. He is really good. If he wanted to
entertainer, man.
truly be a great wrestler, he could
He
be.
probably could be. Yeah.
Yep.
But
I
man,
agree.
it was the spectacle was great. And what you can't teach is his timing. He sold the stunner fucking fantastic. It was his own unique sell.
His box jump to the top rope.
Yeah.
That's
It's
impressive.
extremely dude, his legs are thick. Like he has some obviously he's a punter. And then the comedic timing of him pouring the beer in the side of his mouth. is
Oh,
so
yeah.
dude, that picture is
classic.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
there's they were saying in the chat there's the merch with that him drinking the.
I'd capitalize the shit out of that.
So,
Yeah.
so then it was. I don't have a picture of it. But the worst stunner of all time also happened.
No,
No, he's had worse. He's
Did I
had
put-
worse.
Did I put the TikTok out there though? The oversell stunner.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I sent it to you guys. I need to put it on
Yeah.
the Twitter page. But yeah, Austin Theory sold the shit out of his stunner, only for
Yeah.
McMahon
Oh, he
to
popped
clobber
like
like a
10
bowl of
feet.
jelly.
He wobbled into the ropes, and then the best part about it is Austin cracking up after he did.
Yeah.
Because it was
I
it
thought
was
he
a
was gonna hurt-
Dwayne
I
the
thought he
Rock
was gonna hurt him.
Johnson sell.
If you
That
look,
was a
I hate to
rock
say it,
sell.
but McMahon laughed a little bit too. I think
Yeah.
it was just the fact that they were just having fun out there, and that's what I loved
Yeah.
about it. I just
It
loved the
was
fact that they
gone
were
awful,
reliving
but
fun.
nobody-
Yeah.
It might be
cares
one of
that
the
it was
worst
gone.
stunners, but it's also probably one of the best botches of all time.
Well, apparently, if you listen to Pat's show on Monday, he was talking in depth about WrestleMania. He had no idea any of that shit was happening.
yeah,
He
that's
knew
what I
he
said.
was.
That's what I just
He
said.
knew
said
he knew
he
the
didn't-
theory match, and then apparently the ref told Pat, like, you're wrestling McMahon now, because it was a game time decision on McMahon whether he
That's
was going to
crazy.
do that or not.
Yeah.
So Pat had
That's
no
insane.
idea, and then Pat had no idea Austin was coming out at all.
That's
Yeah.
insane, but great.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome,
I
dude.
think
It
it
was
makes
so
it
entertaining.
even more of a better moment. That
Once
he
again, I
didn't.
think that is
McAfee
a
had a
thing.
great stunner sell.
I think
thought,
a lot
with
of
the
these
player.
things are against the norm of WWE. I think we're
Which
seeing
is
things
why
that- I
I'm
love it.
okay with it. Yeah,
love
it.
I hope they keep
I love all
going
these
that
little
direction.
All right, Edge and AJ. To me, it disappointed me.
No.
Yeah,
I
but
thought it
I
would be
thought
better.
it was
It
good.
was slow. I expected this to be the best match of the thing. That's the only reason I'm giving it a thumbs down.
How about
I wanted
AJ
this to
making
be
his
the best.
face off the entrance?
Yeah,
Pyro,
I saw the
yeah.
replay. He had, I mean,
I
you'd think
felt
they'd have
bad for
lights
him,
on it
man.
or something.
Oh,
Good for
The
him
only-
trooping through it.
The only
Yeah.
problem I had with this match at all, I loved it. It was a psychological match. They
Yeah.
worked an old school, slower paced style. It was a great match. The problem was where it was placed in the card.
yes.
Maybe
You
that- yeah.
can't
Agreed.
follow up jackass comedy and,
With a
and all that
serious- yeah, I guess
pops with a serious wrestling match. The crowd
Good
was
point.
not ready for that at that point. This should
Yeah.
have been probably after the women's tag match, where the crowd had shit on that, and then you bring
Yeah.
them back in with something.
Yeah.
But I understand why they didn't want to put two celebrity matches back together, back
True.
to back. But I would have put New Day and Ridge and gave them a little more time and squeezed that in between the two celebrity matches and put this on a little earlier, even though this is a main event match.
Yeah.
But I feel like coming in after that, like you're just kind of
Yeah.
changing pace so drastically.
True. Very good point. And I kind of agree with Monstar.
Agreed.
One of the best
I agree with
WrestleManias
that
I've seen in a
100%.
long time,
Agreed.
man.
Probably
They
more
brought it.
than 15 years.
People
Blaze,
can
if-
argue with me. I'm sure Eazy-E would have all kinds of things to say about it, but I think it's direct because of AEW is what they're doing over there. They had to step their game up this
Yes,
year.
they did.
Yeah.
We would have
The
got a
only
good old WrestleMania just like before if there was no AEW. That's my
The only thing
opinion.
I'm going to say, Blaze, is go back and watch this match, only this match. Like
By
just
itself.
watch
Yeah.
this match, and I bet you'd have
I
an
think you're
entire
right.
different
I-
appreciation for
It was a point of the show where I wanted total energy. I wanted the crowd to be popping, and it didn't happen. You're right. It was still a good technical match.
It
I'm
didn't
not
happen.
saying that.
Actually, CJ and I both sat there and we're like, about 12 minutes in, were like they started to go like to a go home spot. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're going to turn it on right now.
Yeah.
But the character
like
of
they never did
Edge
it.
cut
True.
that shit off.
Yeah.
But that's the character. Is
The
that I do
methodic,
it for me
yeah.
now. I'm
I
not.
agree.
I'm not going.
And
half
I
cocked with you.
appreciate things like that a lot more than
That-
your normal everyday wrestling fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
True. Very true. Very true. I love it. I mean, competition can only breed, even more. So we have our main event, and
I liked it.
I'm going to say the side two. I mean, there's really nothing that stuck
I
out.
liked it.
Like I said, I wanted something in the end.
Here's my
CJ.
gripe, and it's not even a gripe. Was it a good match? Absolutely. Was it overhyped? 110%.
Yeah,
Two
it
of
was.
the best in the world, but
I
No,
feel-
there's no doubt.
I feel like this match
I
was
agree.
cut short because of Roman's injury.
Yeah.
Whether it was or not, I don't know. But it felt like they were starting to get into that last 25% of the match and really turn the
really
pace up
turn
a
it
little
on.
bit.
Yep.
yeah, I think it was.
And
too.
that kind of it felt like they went to a quick finish because of the injury.
Yep.
So I like the lead up. I mean, this is what you expect out of a Brock Lesnar match. He's going to take your finish
Yep.
and kick out. You're going to take an F5 and kick out. You guys are going to beat the shit out of each other, suplex the shit out of each other. And it's exactly what it should have been till then. But I feel like if it would have went 3 to 5 minutes longer,
You would have
the whole
we would be
perception
saying
would have
different.
changed.
Probably because of that
Yeah.
injury. I don't want Brock to go
Yeah.
away, though. That's the thing. I think he's so hot right now with this
I don't
gimmick.
think he's gonna
I
go.
don't
away.
want
I don't
him to
think he
go
is either.
away.
I think he starts with somebody else because he wants to get back at Roman, but they're going to say, no, you have to go through me, and it's going to start a feud with him and whoever, of course, the booking department picks. You know,
I mean, so all in all, I was very pleasantly surprised
Same.
with Mania.
Listen,
I like going in with
Yeah.
lower expectations. It kind of
you want Brock's next program? Here's Brock's next program. Not next week because he's going to take a few weeks off. He's been on TV, both shows
Every
every
week,
week. We know how Brock is. So
Mhm.
Brock's going to take a few weeks off. But whenever they announce Brock's coming back to Raw and is going to cut a promo, Brock never makes it to the ring. Damian Priest, Edge, and whoever else they
Yeah.
put with him
Yeah.
fucking attack Brock. They got to beat the shit out of him. They got to annihilate him to piss
Big-
Brock off enough to forget about the title. And then we build with him running through whoever else is in that stable until we get an Edge Brock
And
match
Brock.
at the next major pay-per-view or the next
SummerSlam.
Saudi show or the next Saudi show. They're doing
Yeah.
TLC in Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
But I think that's your next major feud to, one, elevate that stable by working with Brock and the star power of Brock. And then two, give him a credible challenger because who else on the card right now do you see as a credible challenger? He's beat
Yeah.
Lashley. He's beat Roman. You don't want him to go back into a title reign right now or a title
Way
picture
too,
right
I
now.
would say Walter Gunther, but it's too soon, and he's coming off
Too
a
soon,
loss, so
yeah.
he's gonna have to be built
Yeah.
once he comes up and everything.
Walter Gunther, I hate that
Vince-
we're calling him that.
I know. That's,
That has to build towards Roman Reigns. If you're gonna have Imperium up there, if you're gonna have his stable, that should start with him annihilating the New Day and et cetera, but build towards him getting either getting over as a babyface or just literally like, a heel versus heel Roman Reigns match where Walter's not going to win, but at least it's a believable challenger
Yeah.
that you believe he could beat Reigns.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't even. I off the top of my head, I couldn't think of anybody else.
No.
to
It
match
has
up.
to be Edge. That's the only thing that makes sense. Unless you're going to flip Brock heel, which would be retarded at this point.
Yeah.
It has to be Edge.
Lot of information tonight. Doc, anything on the indie scenes?
Yes, myself and the legendary CJ Sensation have a show from the side this Saturday,
Yes.
2PW in Worthington, Pennsylvania. It's going to be a banger. We have our 2PW heavyweight champion, Jamie Jameson, putting the title on the line against the New Age Plague, Jason Gorey. It is going to be one hell of a banger. Definitely come out and check that one out. And also Rise Wrestling will
I
be
was just gonna say, when's the next Rise? Because I might go to that.
it's on Saturday too, and it is at Uniontown Mall. So I will be going to 2PW. That's where I'm behind the table, and wherever I'm behind the table, that's where I go. Plus,
Well,
I'm a
then I'll
Marshall
jump-
Gambino
I'll wait-
guy.
and I'll wait
You
to
should
go
just
live.
jump in the car and go to 2PW with me.
Who, me?
I'm talking about the guy up here.
Oh, yeah.
I need-
What's this
I
guy
wanna-
over here?
My idea is, I think I want to print out some wristbands or something and go to somebody's shows and hand them out for our show.
Well,
here.
then
I
why
think
don't
we
you
need to spread
why
the
don't
word
you
to
just
somebody's-
why don't you just
Why
get on
don't
your
you
ass?
get up off your ass
Thank
and
you,
you
and
find
come-
that fucking dog?
Why don't- Why don't you look here, Blaze? I'll throw this out here publicly right now. Why don't you come to the show with us? Come on, me and Bodie. You can come to my house, park your car, and you even have you don't even have to spend your gas.
Okay, if I'm feeling okay, which I never feel okay. So.
Who is 2PW's world champion again?
Jamie Jameson, the Country Hammer.
When did the guy from Hatebreed start wrestling?
That'd be Jamie Jasta. Jesus Christ. And there's something that Jamie Jameson has that Jamie Jasta doesn't.
Somebody got it.
Both his thumbs. Okay. Sorry, that was a bad Hatebreed joke.
Yeah.
CJ, final thoughts, friend.
It's definitely with how things panned out with Mania and this week. It's more time than ever to be a wrestling fan. It's the greatest time.
Great week of wrestling. Rig, take
things
us home.
in the right direction.
Take us home.
FTR, you're my fucking hero.
Give them all the belts. Give them all the gold. We'll be back next week. I'll be live here in a few minutes with some LTV wrestling, and we'll be back next week from the side.